Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Steele, and I am the founder of Holistic Family Practice and a practicing holistic doctor. This video is about what it means to do the work. So, today there's a saying about, you got to do the work, you got to do the work, you got to do the work, right? And I think sometimes some of us that are doing the work, we forget that other people are not yet aware that there's even work to do. Um, we are so infatuated with things that are pretty, especially in our culture. We want things, and also in, let's say, even in the metaphysical world or the health world or whatever, it's like, positive affirmations, and we want, and think, positive thoughts, and everything's just going to work out. And we keep affirming to ourselves. However, we keep then manifesting, creating, or attracting, the bad health, the bad relationships, the financial blunders, etc. And then we get frustrated, right? And we go, well, I don't understand. This stuff doesn't work, and I'm done. And you shut down. And so I wanted to help people to understand what it truly means to do the work, because it's not pretty, right? It doesn't look good. We are spiritual beings embodying these physical forms, right? These constricted forms, right? However, when we were wherever we were before, right? When we were back with Creator, we were this limitless being. We were just fully expansive, and we could have anything and do anything, and we were just free form. And so a lot of times people think that God's work is done, but God's work is not done. And so we decided to incarnate in these bodies in this time, with everyone at the same time, to be able to experience more and expand more and be more conscious and be more present and heal, etc. Which means that we incarnate in a physical form. We incarnate as a human being, and we're having a human experience. And in our human experience, it's messy. Our humanity and being in our physical body means experiencing pain, experiencing suffering, experience disappointment, sadness, etc. And so these experiences, letdowns and financial blunders and relationship blunders, etc., these experiences help us to strengthen our faith, resolve, helps us to build resilience, and then allows us to see polarity, because we're able to see what it is we really don't want, right, based off of these experiences that we're having. And then it allows us the opportunity for personal growth and reflection to then be able to shift ourselves, right? But that consists of us getting out of this victim consciousness. And what I mean by this victim consciousness is this idea that life is happening to me. I'm a passive vessel. I'm not doing anything. It's just things are just, it just falls into my lap every single time. The same bad relationship, the same financial mistakes, the same XYZ. It's all just happening to me spontaneously, and I'm not doing anything, right? So when we choose to do the work, we choose to be the observer, we choose to reflect on what our thoughts are, what our emotions are, what our behaviors are, what our actions are, what our decision making is. And as we begin to look at more of that shadow self, or we look at more of the humanity, we look at more of kind of that I'll use the word sinful nature, not that it's attached necessarily to sin. There's a lot of connotations to that, but let's say we look at, oh, okay, so my deep-seated pain and suffering and self-awareness, and some of it's not even ours. That's the other amazing part, is that some of these things have been passed down from generation to generation. That's the work of transgenerational trauma. It's healing and transforming that on a generational level. And now more than ever, we're becoming fully conscious and present to the fact that lineages have just passed passed down suffering upon suffering and suffering. And then, our generations kind of decided, okay, it stops with me, and I'm no longer going to continue to pass down the same suffering and heartache and pain, etc. So I'm going to choose to do the work to transform myself so that my children are the beneficiary, so that future generations are the beneficiary, so that I don't have to continue to suffer in my own life because I'm looking at myself objectively. And it's not pretty. And what that looks like for me is daily meditation, is daily journal writing, is daily reflection, is self-awareness and emotional intelligence, and really looking at, okay, what is it that I want to create that I haven't created yet? And what is it that I was doing in the past from an observation perspective, no judgment, no should, could, would all over myself, but rather just being very present of, oh, okay, so I'm unconsciously doing this and this and this. And so I want to be more conscious about this and this and this. And this is what I want. And so this is how I need to get there. And so these are the new actions that I need to take in order to ensure that, this happens the way I want it to happen. And then there's constant tweaking, right? It's not just like, boom, you got it. It's an evolutionary process. So you keep, getting on the bike, you keep falling down, you keep getting up, you keep falling down, and then eventually you learn how to ride, and then eventually you take your hands off the handlebars, and everything's an amazing thing, right? And so it involves you looking at yourself, feeling the feelings. We store a lot of emotions unprocessed in our bodies. That's that mind-body connection, and that's my work in psychoneuroimmunology, which is the emotional manifestations of disease. And it's just fascinating to me, as some of the meditations that I do and some of the work that I do, how much we trap things in our organs. The liver, responsible for anger, repressed communications, which lead to frustrations, angers, resentments of self and others. And Eastern medicine has, extensively looked at these connections. And that predates our Western culture and our Western medicine by at least 10,000 years. And so we in the West are just now opening up and becoming more aware of these subtle things, and these things that we can't necessarily see, things that we can't measure, things that we can't quantify. And so as a response to that, we're starting to allow faith to drive us a little bit more. Now, faith is defined as a connection between creator, a connection to source. Now, whatever vehicle you use to connect to source, whether that's Jesus, whether that's God, whether that's, creator, spirit, whatever, that's fine. Truth is one and paths are many. So it's the vehicle to which you choose. But all of the teachings pretty much lead all back to the same thing, which is self-love. And so if we learn how to truly love ourselves, which that means not just loving the happy parts of ourselves, that means also looking at the darker parts of ourselves, the unhealed parts of ourselves, and then being consciously aware of healing those things and transforming those things so that we have more personal freedom in our lives. So it takes us from this low frequency place where really we're just going to keep manifesting low frequency things into a higher frequency plane where now we can, manifest all sorts of things that we want to in our own lives. So hopefully that made some clarity for you in terms of what it means to do the work. Doing the work is different for everybody. Some people, they want to skim the work. Some people want to, do some part of the work. Some people, like me, I'm a deep diver. I want to go deep. I want to heal it all. I want to explore and expand. And I think once you get into the process of doing the work, it feels good. You feel lighter. You have more freedom. You have more joy. You have more peace. You see it. You're not seeking outside of yourself for what's in self, because you're now mastering what it means to be really, truly in love with self and receiving everything that you need from source and self. And so you don't need all this external as much. So, it's definitely a decision, and it's a conscious decision. And nobody says that you have to jump in full bore. You can dip your toe in, you can go to a seminar, you can go to a class, you can, go see someone, and then you can get into a program, and then this is an evolutionary process, and something that is really a spiritual walk and a spiritual journey of self-discovery. And so doing the work looks different for everybody, both physically, environmentally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's all very unique to the individual. I often tell people when they come into my practice, I'm like a little Sherpa. My job is to guide the person through the process of doing the work so that they're not alone in the journey. They have somebody who has done it, who continues to do it, and can guide them, go left, go right. And so there's a lot more shortcuts when you're working with somebody versus when you're just doing it yourself. So if you are interested in doing the work and partnering in the work, feel free to reach out to my practice. The links are in the comment section, as well as in the video. So yeah, I absolutely love this part of the process. I am definitely, I would say, just totally enamored with consciousness and learning to express and explore everything that there is in this human form. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.